Captain Sarah Chen stood on the bridge of the UES Prometheus, watching the endless stars through the massive viewscreen. The ship stretched over 15 kilometers from bow to stern, a testament to humanity's greatest engineering achievement. Built in the orbital shipyards of Mars, it housed nearly 2 million souls seeking a new home among the stars. "Captain, we're receiving an anomalous reading on long-range sensors," reported Lieutenant Commander Marcus Webb from his station. His fingers danced across the holographic interface, bringing up a three-dimensional display of local space. Sarah moved closer to examine the data. After 18 months in deep space, any deviation from the norm demanded attention. The Prometheus carried the hopes of Earth's overcrowded billions, searching for a habitable world beyond their dying solar system. "What kind of anomaly?" she asked, her voice steady despite the flutter of anticipation in her chest. "Multiple energy signatures, Captain. They're organized. Moving in formation." Webb's voice carried a note of disbelief. "The computer estimates at least 30 distinct contacts, each roughly the size of a frigate." The bridge fell silent except for the gentle hum of life support systems. Sarah felt her heartbeat quicken. In all their time exploring the galaxy, humanity had never encountered another spacefaring civilization. They had found ruins, ancient artifacts, and long-dead worlds, but never active alien technology. "Distance?" Sarah asked. 2 light hours and closing. At their current velocity, they'll intercept us in approximately 6 hours. Sarah activated her command console and opened a channel to the ship's senior staff. "All department heads to the bridge immediately. This is not a drill." Within minutes, the bridge filled with the Prometheus's most experienced officers. Dr. Elena Vasquez, the chief xenobiologist, arrived first, her lab coat still dusted with soil samples from their last planetary survey. Commander James Morrison, head of security, followed close behind, his hand unconsciously resting on his sidearm. "Status report," Sarah announced as the last officer took their position. Webb repeated his findings, projecting the sensor data onto the main screen. The alien formation appeared as glowing dots against the starfield, their movement precise and coordinated. "Recommendations?" Sarah asked, looking around the assembled group. "We should prepare for first contact protocols," Dr. Vasquez said immediately. "This is the moment humanity has dreamed of for centuries. We need to approach this carefully and diplomatically." Commander Morrison shook his head. "With respect, Doctor, we have 2 million civilians aboard. Our first priority must be their safety. I recommend we alter course and avoid contact until we know their intentions." "Running might be interpreted as hostile," argued Dr. Vasquez. "We could be throwing away the greatest opportunity in human history." Sarah raised her hand for silence. She had spent years training for moments like this, but no simulation could truly prepare someone for the weight of such a decision. The choice she made in the next few minutes could determine the future of human-alien relations. "We maintain course," she decided. "But we go to yellow alert. All defensive systems online, but weapons remain powered down." Dr. Vasquez, prepare a first contact package. Commander Morrison, have security teams ready but keep them out of sight. I want us prepared for any outcome. The next few hours passed with agonizing slowness. The alien ships grew larger on the sensors, revealing details that both fascinated and worried the human crew. The vessels were sleek and organic-looking, unlike anything in human design philosophy. They seemed to flow through space rather than cutting through it. "Captain, they're hailing us," announced Communications Officer Lieutenant Park, her voice tight with nervous energy. "The signal is complex. It's not just radio waves. There are gravitational modulations, quantum fluctuations, even temporal distortions. It's like they're trying to communicate on multiple dimensional levels simultaneously. Can we respond? Our computers are working on it. The AI is attempting to decode the transmission patterns. It might take time to establish meaningful communication." Sarah nodded, her mind racing through possibilities. Humanity's greatest strength had always been its adaptability. From the caves of Africa to the stars themselves, humans had thrived by learning and growing. Now that trait would be tested like never before. "Captain." Webb called out, his voice sharp with alarm. The formation is changing. There, surrounding us. The tactical display showed the alien ships spreading out in a complex three-dimensional pattern around the Prometheus. It was beautiful in its precision, but also unmistakably threatening. No matter which direction the human ship turned, it would face alien vessels. Still no weapons lock, Morrison reported from his tactical station. But they've effectively trapped us. If they wanted to destroy us, we'd already be space dust. That's encouraging, I suppose, Sarah muttered. She opened a ship-wide communication channel. All hands, this is the captain. We are currently engaged in first contact with an alien civilization. I need everyone to remain calm and follow all safety protocols. We are not in immediate danger, but the situation is developing. Continue normal duties unless directed otherwise. Dr. Vasquez approached Sarah's command chair. Captain, I'm reading massive power signatures from their ships. The energy output is incredible. Each of their vessels produces more power than our entire ship. Before Sarah could respond, Lieutenant Park called out again. Captain, I think we have communication. The AI has established a basic translation matrix. The aliens are requesting to speak with the translation is unclear. Either our pack leader or nest mother or possibly decision maker. That would be me, Sarah said, standing up from her chair. Put it through to the main viewer. The screen flickered, and, suddenly, they were looking at something that definitely wasn't human. The alien had a vaguely reptilian appearance, with scales that shifted color in complex patterns. Its eyes were large and multifaceted, like an insect's, but clearly intelligent. When it spoke, the words emerged from the ship's speakers in heavily accented but recognizable English. Greetings, beings of the massive vessel. I am Fleet Commander ZYX Tal of the Hegemony Oversight Council. Your ship was detected entering regulated space without proper authorization. State your species designation and purpose. Sarah took a deep breath, knowing that her next words might echo through history. I am Captain Sarah Chen of the United Earthship Prometheus, representing humanity. We are explorers seeking a new home for our people. We were unaware that this space was claimed by any civilization. The alien scale shifted to darker hues, which Sarah hoped wasn't a sign of aggression. Humanity. This designation is not in our databases. Your vessel is unusually large for a single ship. Our sensors indicate nearly 2 million life forms aboard. This is concerning. We pose no threat, Sarah said quickly. Our ship carries families, children, scientists, and civilians. We are refugees from a dying world, seeking only a place where we can build new lives in peace. Fleet Commander ZYX Tal's image wavered as it consulted with others offscreen. The patterns on its scales changed rapidly, perhaps indicating intense discussion. When it returned its attention to the human captain, its tone had shifted slightly. Captain Chen, your claims are unprecedented. The hegemony has overseen this galaxy sector for over 10,000 years. In that time, no species has ever attempted interstellar migration on such a scale. The logistical requirements alone should be impossible for a developing civilization. Dr. Vasquez moved closer to Sarah, whispering urgently. Captain, I'm reading their life signs. They're stressed, possibly even afraid. I don't think they were expecting to encounter something like us. Sarah nodded slightly, keeping her attention on the alien commander. Commander ZYX Tal, we understand your surprise. Humanity is still young compared to your civilization, but we are resourceful. When our star began to die, we chose to build ships and seek new worlds rather than simply accept extinction. Your star is dying? ZYX Tal's scale shifted to what might have been surprise or concern. What is your species development classification? Have you achieved faster than light travel? Controlled fusion? Quantum manipulation? We have fusion power and limited FTL capability, Sarah answered honestly. We're still learning about quantum technologies. The Prometheus is our most advanced achievement. The alien commander's reaction was immediate and startling. Its scale shifted to bright, almost luminous patterns, and it spoke rapidly in its own language to others offscreen. When it returned to English, its voice carried a note of what could only be described as awe. Captain Chen, if your ship is truly the product of a pre-quantum civilization, then your species has accomplished something that should be theoretically impossible. The power requirements alone for a vessel of this size should be beyond your technological capability. Commander Morrison leaned over to Sarah. Captain, their whole formation just changed position. They're no longer in attack formation. If anything, they look defensive? Sarah filed that information away while maintaining eye contact with the alien commander. Commander ZYX-Tal, we would welcome the opportunity to share information about our respective civilizations. Perhaps there's much we could learn from each other. I must consult with the Hegemony High Council, ZYX-Tal said. Your presence here raises questions that go far beyond standard first contact protocols. A species achieving interstellar migration before quantum mastery challenges fundamental assumptions about technological development. The communication ended abruptly, leaving the bridge of the Prometheus in tense silence. Sarah turned to face her officers, reading the mixture of excitement and concern on their faces. Well, she said finally, that could have gone worse. We're still alive, and they seem more curious than hostile. Dr. Vasquez was practically vibrating with excitement. Captain, do you realize what just happened? We've apparently done something that their advanced civilization considers impossible. That gives us a significant advantage in negotiations. It might also make us a threat, Morrison countered. If we've broken their understanding of how technology develops, they might see us as dangerous. Sarah considered both perspectives. Humanity's history was full of encounters between civilizations of different technological levels, and those meetings rarely ended well for the less advanced society. But perhaps their apparent impossibility might work in their favor. Dr. Vasquez, I want a full analysis of everything we learned from that conversation. Communication patterns, body language, anything that might give us insight into their psychology. Morrison, keep our defenses ready but not threatening. And I want engineering to give me every detail about what makes the Prometheus special. If our ship impressed them, I need to know why. As the crew dispersed to their tasks, Sarah remained on the bridge, staring at the alien ships that surrounded them. Somewhere in the distance, decisions were being made that would shape humanity's future among the stars. She could only hope that humanity's greatest strength, their refusal to accept the impossible, would be enough to secure their survival. The Prometheus continued its steady course through space, carrying 2 million human souls toward an uncertain but potentially magnificent future. Behind them lay a dying Earth. Ahead lay the unknown. And, all around them, alien minds grappled with the implications of humanity's arrival among the stars. Hours passed in careful preparation. Every department head submitted reports on their readiness for various scenarios, from peaceful cultural exchange to emergency evacuation procedures. The engineering staff worked overtime to understand why their ship had so impressed the aliens, while the diplomatic corps prepared formal first contact protocols. Dr. Vasquez had established a small team of linguists and xenobiologists to analyze every aspect of their brief communication with Fleet Commander ZYX-Tal. They pored over voice patterns, body language, and the fascinating color-changing scales that seemed to convey emotional or psychological states. Captain, Dr. Vasquez reported after several hours of analysis, we're seeing consistent patterns in the commander's scale coloration that suggest a complex emotional response to our presence. The initial dark colors when we first appeared seemed to indicate wariness or concern. But, when you mentioned our dying star and refugee status, we saw shifts toward what might be sympathy or understanding. And, when we told them about our technology level? That's where it gets interesting. The bright, luminous patterns we saw appeared to indicate extreme surprise, possibly even shock. In human terms, it would be like discovering that someone had built a rocket ship using stone tools. Sarah nodded thoughtfully. Keep monitoring their communications if possible. Any insight into their decision-making process could be crucial. The answer came sooner than expected. The main view screen suddenly activated again, this time showing not just Fleet Commander ZYX-Tal, but several other aliens of what appeared to be different species. Their variety was startling, some reptilian like ZYX-Tal, others that seemed more insect-like, and at least one that appeared to be made entirely of crystalline formations. Captain Chen, ZYXTAL began, its scale showing rapid color shifts that suggested intense activity. I present the emergency session of the Hegemony High Council. Your arrival has created unprecedented circumstances. A crystalline being that seemed to speak through harmonic vibrations addressed Sarah directly. I am Council Prime Shard of Light. In 30,000 years of hegemony expansion, we have never encountered a situation like yours. A pre-quantum species achieving mass interstellar migration defies our most fundamental models of technological progression. An insect-like alien with multiple limbs clicked and chittered before its words were translated. I am HiveMind designation 77 Alpha. Our analysis indicates your vessel should not be capable of maintaining structural integrity at its current size given your described technology base. Yet here it exists. Sarah felt the weight of 2 million lives pressing down on her shoulders. Every word she spoke could determine whether humanity found allies among the stars or faced destruction at the hands of beings far more advanced than themselves. Honored council members, she began, drawing on every diplomatic protocol she had ever studied. Humanity may be young and our technology limited compared to yours, but we have always found ways to overcome seemingly impossible challenges. When faced with extinction, we chose to reach for the stars rather than surrender to fate. The council members exchanged what appeared to be rapid communications in their native languages, creating a symphony of clicks, harmonic vibrations, and the color-shifting scales of ZYXTAL's species. Finally, Shard of Light addressed her again. Captain Chen, we face a dilemma. Your species represents either a remarkable example of determination and ingenuity, or a potential threat to the established order of galactic civilization. The hegemony exists to maintain peace and stability among the stars. Unpredictable elements must be carefully managed. We seek only a home, Sarah said firmly. We have no desire for conquest or conflict. Our ship carries scientists, families, artists, and teachers. We want to build, not destroy. Yet your very existence challenges our understanding, 77 Alpha responded. If a pre-quantum species can achieve what you have achieved, what does that say about the necessity of our oversight? What precedent does this set for other developing civilizations? Sarah realized she was witnessing a moment of genuine uncertainty among beings who had likely ruled the galaxy for millennia. Humanity's impossible achievement had thrown their worldview into chaos, and that could either save her people or doom them. Perhaps, she said carefully, the question isn't whether we threaten your understanding, but whether we offer an opportunity to expand it. Humanity has always believed that diversity leads to strength. Maybe the galaxy is big enough for different approaches to reaching the stars. The council fell silent, and Sarah could almost feel the weight of their deliberation. In the depths of space, surrounded by alien ships, 2 million human souls waited to learn whether they had found a new beginning or a tragic end to their species' greatest journey. The stars watched in eternal silence as history balanced on the edge of possibility. The silence stretched for what felt like hours but was probably only minutes. Sarah watched the alien council members continue their rapid communications, their various forms of expression creating an almost musical backdrop to the tension. Finally, Shard of Light's crystalline form resonated with new harmonics. Captain Chen, the council has reached a preliminary decision. We will allow a small delegation from your ship to visit our primary fleet vessel for formal negotiations. However, we must also send inspectors to verify your claims about your ship and technology level. Sarah felt a mixture of relief and apprehension. It was progress, but it also meant exposing humanity's secrets to beings whose intentions remained unclear. I accept your proposal, Council Prime. I'll select a diplomatic team immediately. One condition, Fleet Commander ZYXTAL interjected, its scale showing rapid orange and gold patterns. Our inspectors must have complete access to your ship's technical specifications. If we discover deception, the consequences will be severe. Understood, Sarah replied, though her mind was already racing with concerns. The Prometheus did have secrets, though not the kind the aliens might expect. I'll prepare our technical staff to assist your inspectors. After the transmission ended, Sarah immediately called another senior staff meeting. This time, the mood was different. They had survived first contact, but now came the even more delicate process of proving humanity's worth to an ancient galactic civilization. Commander Morrison, I want you to lead the security detail for our delegation. Dr. Vasquez, you'll handle scientific and cultural exchange. Chief Engineer Rahman, you'll work with their inspectors. Chief Engineer Fatima Rahman, who had been quiet during the initial contact, now spoke up with obvious concern. Captain, there are aspects of our ship's design that might raise questions. The truth is, the Prometheus shouldn't work as well as it does. Sarah frowned. Explain. Rahman activated a holographic display showing the ship's internal structure. When we built this ship, we were working with limited resources and desperate timelines. We made a lot of design choices that conventional engineering said wouldn't work. But humans have this habit of making impossible things work through sheer determination. She highlighted various sections of the ship. Take our power distribution network. By all the physics simulations, it should have catastrophic resonance failures. But our engineers found ways to tune the systems dynamically, constantly adjusting to prevent those failures. It's like the difference between a perfectly calculated bridge and a spider web that adapts to every stress. Dr. Vasquez leaned forward. You're saying our technology is more organic? Exactly. Most civilizations probably develop technology in logical, step-by-step progressions. They master one level completely before moving to the next. Humans built the Prometheus by solving 10,000 small impossible problems and making them work together. Sarah began to understand. So when the aliens see our ship, they're not just seeing advanced technology. They're seeing a completely different approach to engineering. Yes. And that might explain why they're so shocked. It's like seeing someone build a skyscraper using techniques that shouldn't be able to support a shed. Commander Morrison crossed his arms. The question is whether they'll see that as impressive or dangerous. Before Sarah could respond, Lieutenant Park announced an incoming transmission. Captain, the aliens are requesting immediate access for their inspection team. They're already launching a shuttle. That was fast, Sarah muttered. All right, people. Chief Rahman, assemble your best engineers to accompany the alien inspectors. Dr. Vasquez, prepare the cultural exchange materials. Morrison, standard diplomatic security protocols. An hour later, Sarah stood in the Prometheus's main docking bay, watching as an alien shuttle approached. The vessel was beautiful in its strangeness, flowing through space with movements that seemed more like swimming than flying. When it docked, the bay filled with a soft humming sound that seemed to come from the ship itself. The airlock cycled, and Sarah got her first in-person look at the aliens. Fleet Commander ZY emerged first, its scales showing neutral blue-green patterns. It was larger than she had expected, nearly 3 meters tall, with movements that were both graceful and predatory. Behind it came a team of what were obviously technicians, their equipment floating beside them in defiance of gravity. Captain Chen, ZY said, its voice carrying an odd harmonic quality in person. I present Technical Evaluation Specialist Korth and Cultural Assessment Specialist Vexhai. The technician, Korth, appeared to be from the same species as ZY but smaller and with equipment integrated directly into its body. When it spoke, the words came from a device rather than its mouth. We require immediate access to your ship's primary systems. Power generation, propulsion, life support, and structural integrity networks. Sarah nodded to Chief Rahman. This is Chief Engineer Rahman. She'll provide whatever access you need. As the technical team moved deeper into the ship, Sarah accompanied ZY and the cultural specialist toward the diplomatic areas she had prepared. But she couldn't shake the feeling that the real test was happening in the engine rooms and computer cores, where alien minds would examine the impossible miracle of human engineering. Chief Rahman led the alien technicians through the Prometheus's engineering sections, trying to explain systems that had been built as much through intuition as calculation. Korth examined everything with instruments that seemed to analyze matter at the quantum level, while its assistants took detailed scans of every major component. This power coupling, Korth said, pointing at a massive assembly that channeled energy from the ship's fusion reactors, should not function. The resonance frequencies are unstable. How does it maintain coherent power flow? Rahman smiled. That's where human engineering gets creative. Instead of trying to eliminate the resonance, we learned to ride it. The coupling actually uses the resonance patterns to boost efficiency. It took us 3 years of trial and error to get it right. Quartz scales shifted to patterns Raman was beginning to recognize as confusion. You achieved stable resonance coupling through experimentation rather than theoretical modeling? Theory only gets you so far when you're building something that's never been built before. Sometimes you have to just try things and see what works. The alien technician exchanged rapid communications with its team in their native language before turning back to Raman. This approach is highly irregular. Our species typically model all possibilities before construction begins. That would take forever, Raman replied. We didn't have forever. Earth was dying, and we had a deadline. So we built the Prometheus with the understanding that we'd solve problems as we encountered them. As they moved deeper into the ship's engineering sections, Quartz's confusion seemed to grow. Every major system showed evidence of what the aliens considered impossible engineering choices that had somehow been made to work through creative adaptation and constant adjustment. Your structural integrity field generators, Quartz said, examining an array of devices that helped hold the massive ship together, operate on principles that should create catastrophic failure within days. Yet your ship has been operational for over a year. Raman nodded. The field generators are designed to work together as a network. If one fails or becomes unstable, the others compensate automatically. It's not as efficient as having perfect individual units, but it's much more reliable overall. You built redundancy into systems that should not require redundancy, then used that redundancy to enable operation modes that should not be possible. That's a pretty good summary of human engineering philosophy. Meanwhile, in the diplomatic sections, Sarah was having her own enlightening conversation with Fleet Commander ZYXTAL and Cultural Assessment Specialist HFY. The cultural specialist was unlike the others, with a more flowing, almost liquid appearance that shifted constantly between different forms. Your species' demographics are fascinating, HFY said, its voice changing pitch and tone as its form shifted. 2 million individuals, but representing tremendous genetic and cultural diversity. Most species achieve interstellar capability only after significant cultural unification. Humanity has always been diverse, Sarah replied. We considered that a strength rather than a weakness when we built the Prometheus. The ship carries people from every continent and culture on Earth. ZYXTAL's scales showed what Sarah was learning to interpret as thoughtfulness. In our experience, such diversity typically leads to conflict and inefficiency. How does your species maintain cooperation? It's not always easy, Sarah admitted. But, when we face a common threat, humans have a remarkable ability to put aside differences and work together. The death of our star gave us a shared purpose. Yet you maintain separate cultural groups rather than assimilating into a single unified society? Sarah smiled. Diversity isn't just about genetics. Different cultures approach problems in different ways, and that gives us multiple solutions to choose from. The engineering breakthroughs that made the Prometheus possible came from combining approaches from dozens of different human traditions. HFY's form shifted to more angular patterns. This is contrary to established development models. Most species achieve technological advancement through increasing standardization and control. Maybe that's why our ship surprised you, Sarah suggested. We didn't follow the established models. Before HFY could respond, they were interrupted by a urgent communication from Quartz. The technician's voice carried clear stress patterns as it reported to Fleet Commander ZYXTAL in rapid bursts of their native language. ZYXTAL's scales immediately shifted to darker, more agitated colors. Captain Chen, we have a problem. Your ship is not what it appears to be. Sarah felt her heart rate spike. What do you mean? Technical specialist Quartz reports that your ship's systems are operating in sustained violation of fundamental engineering principles. This should not be possible without technology far in advance of what you claim to possess. Chief Raman's voice came over the ship's communication system. Captain, you need to get down to engineering immediately. We have a situation. Sarah excused herself and rushed through the ship's corridors, her mind racing through possibilities. Had the aliens discovered something about human technology that even humans didn't understand? When she arrived in the main engineering bay, she found Korth surrounded by floating displays showing complex technical readouts. Its scales shifted to colors she had never seen before. "Captain," Roman said urgently, "they've discovered something about our power systems that we didn't know ourselves." Korth turned its large, multifaceted eyes toward Sarah. "Captain Chen, your ship's fusion reactors are not operating according to standard fusion principles. The containment fields show quantum characteristics that should be impossible at your technology level." "I don't understand," Sarah said. "Our reactors use standard magnetic confinement fusion." "No," Korth replied, its voice tight with what might have been fear or awe. "Your containment fields are exhibiting quantum entanglement effects across macro scales. This is technology that the hegemony has only theoretical models for." Rahman looked stunned. "That's impossible. We built those reactors using conventional technology." Korth activated a holographic display that showed the fusion reactors in operation. "Observe the plasma confinement patterns. See how the magnetic fields appear to be coordinating across distances greater than lightspeed communication should allow? This is evidence of quantum entanglement being used to synchronize reactor operation across your entire ship." Sarah stared at the display, trying to understand the implications. "Are you saying our reactors are more advanced than we thought they were?" "I am saying that your reactors demonstrate technology that the hegemony considers theoretically possible but practically impossible to implement. Yet here it operates, maintaining power for a ship that carries 2 million lives." Fleet Commander ZYXTAL arrived in engineering, its scale showing rapid color changes that suggested intense agitation. It spoke quickly with Korth in their native language before turning to Sarah. "Captain Chen, this discovery changes everything. If your species has achieved quantum entanglement reactors without understanding the underlying principles, then either you are far more advanced than you claim, or you have stumbled upon something that defies our understanding of technological development." Sarah felt the weight of the moment. Humanity's greatest achievement was apparently even greater than they had realized, and she wasn't sure if that was going to save them or doom them. "Commander ZYXTAL," she said carefully, "I can assure you that we didn't intentionally develop quantum entanglement technology. If our reactors are doing something extraordinary, it happened because human engineers found a way to make them work, not because we understood exotic physics." "That," ZYXTAL replied, "is exactly what makes this so unprecedented. Your species has achieved technological breakthroughs through intuition and experimentation that other civilizations reach only through centuries of theoretical development." Korth activated another display. "Captain, we must ask, are there other systems on your ship that might be operating beyond your understanding of their principles?" Rahman and Sarah exchanged glances. The truth was that the Prometheus was full of systems that worked better than they should have, engineering solutions that had been found through trial and error rather than deep understanding. "Chief Rahman," Sarah said, "I think it's time to show them everything." Over the next several hours, the alien inspection team discovered system after system that operated on principles the hegemony considered advanced theoretical physics. The navigation computers used quantum probability calculations to plot courses through spacetime. The life support systems maintained atmospheric balance through what appeared to be macro-scale molecular engineering. Even the ship's communication arrays showed evidence of quantum information processing. Each discovery left the alien technicians more confused and amazed. They were looking at a ship built by a species that had achieved breakthrough after breakthrough without understanding what they had achieved. Finally, as the inspection concluded, Fleet Commander ZYXTAL gathered its team for a private consultation. Sarah watched them communicate in rapid bursts of color, sound, and harmonic vibrations, knowing that they were deciding humanity's fate. When ZYXTAL returned to address the humans, its scales showed patterns that Sarah couldn't interpret. "Captain Chen, we must return to our ships to make a full report to the Hegemony High Council. What we have discovered here will require careful consideration by our most senior leadership." "What kind of consideration?" Sarah asked, dreading the answer. "Your species has independently developed technologies that represent thousands of years of advancement beyond your apparent development level. This should not be possible. Either your species possesses capabilities far beyond what you have revealed, or the hegemony's understanding of technological development is fundamentally flawed. Sarah realized that humanity had become something neither they nor the aliens had expected, a species that broke the rules simply by existing. The question now was whether that would make them valuable allies or dangerous anomalies that needed to be contained. As the alien inspection team returned to their shuttle, Sarah stood watching from the observation deck. The Prometheus continued its course through space, carrying 2 million human souls toward an uncertain future. But, now she understood that humanity's greatest strength, their ability to make impossible things work, might also be their greatest challenge in a galaxy where the impossible wasn't supposed to happen. The stars continued their eternal dance, indifferent to the drama playing out among the tiny vessels of intelligent life. But, in the depths of space, the balance of galactic civilization hung on the question of what to do with a species that refused to follow the rules. 3 days passed without contact from the alien fleet. Sarah spent the time reviewing every detail of the inspection, trying to understand what the aliens might decide about humanity's fate. The Prometheus continued its journey through space, but now they were accompanied by 30 alien ships whose intentions remained unknown. Dr. Vasquez had been analyzing every moment of their interactions with the aliens, building psychological profiles based on their behavior patterns. Her conclusions weren't entirely comforting. "Captain," she reported during a senior staff meeting, "based on their reactions and communication patterns, I believe we've created what they see as a fundamental crisis. Their entire understanding of how civilizations develop has been challenged by our existence." "What does that mean for us?" Morrison asked. "It could go either way. Either they'll see us as a valuable addition to their galaxy, bringing new approaches to old problems, or they'll see us as a threat to their established order that needs to be controlled or eliminated." Chief Rahman had spent the past 3 days running detailed analyses of their ship's systems, trying to understand what the aliens had discovered. Her findings were equally unsettling. "Captain, the more we look into it, the more we realize how little we understood about our own technology. It's like we built a spaceship by accident and only now discovered we actually built a miracle." Sarah rubbed her temples, feeling the weight of command. "Explain that." Rahman activated a holographic display showing the ship's quantum reactor systems. "When we built the Prometheus, we were focused on making things work, not understanding why they worked. We solved problems through trial and error, intuition, and desperation. Apparently, that led us to stumble upon technologies that advanced civilizations spend millennia trying to develop." "So we're more advanced than we thought?" "No, that's the strange part. We're not more advanced. We just approached problems differently. Instead of understanding the theoretical framework and, then, building technology, we built technology and let it teach us the framework." Dr. Vasquez leaned forward. "That's actually very human. Throughout our history, we've made discoveries by experimentation and observation rather than pure theory. We learned to use fire long before we understood combustion chemistry. The question," Morrison said grimly, "is whether the aliens see that as admirable or dangerous." Their answer came sooner than expected. The main communication system activated, and, once again they found themselves looking at the assembled Hegemony High Council. But, this time, there were many more participants. Sarah counted at least 20 different species represented, some appearing via hologram from distant locations. "Captain Chen, Shardovlight's crystal form resonated with complex harmonics. The Council has completed its deliberations regarding your species and ship. What we have discovered raises questions that go to the heart of galactic civilization." Sarah stood formally, knowing that the next few minutes would determine humanity's future. "We await your decision, Council Prime." A new voice joined the conversation, this one belonging to a being that appeared to be made of shifting energy patterns. "I am Ancient Designate Flux of Eternity, Speaker for the Founders Council. Captain Chen, in 50,000 years of galactic civilization, we have never encountered a situation like yours." 50,000 years. Sarah felt the crushing weight of that time span, trying to imagine the accumulated knowledge and experience represented by the beings she was addressing. "Your species," continued Flux of Eternity, "has achieved something we considered impossible. You have developed breakthrough technologies without the theoretical framework that should be required to create them. This challenges fundamental assumptions about how intelligent species progress. Fleet Commander ZYXDAL's scale showed rapid color patterns as it added, "Our inspection of your ship revealed technologies that we classify as Level 7 achievements, yet your species shows all the characteristics of a Level 3 civilization. This disparity should not exist." Sarah decided that honesty was their only viable strategy. "Honored council members, humanity doesn't claim to understand everything we've achieved. We built the Prometheus because we had to, not because we knew how to. When faced with extinction, humans have a tendency to attempt impossible things. And that," said 77 Alpha, its insectoid limbs clicking rapidly, "is exactly what concerns us. A species that achieves Level 7 technology without Level 7 understanding represents a potentially destabilizing force." Sarah felt her heart sink. It sounded like the Council was preparing to classify humanity as a threat. But, then, ancient designate Flux of Eternity spoke again. "However, after extensive deliberation, we have reached a different conclusion. Captain Chen, your species represents something we have not seen in millennia, genuine innovation." "Innovation?" Sarah asked, not sure if she dared to hope. Shardovlight's crystalline form pulsed with new harmonics. "For thousands of years, galactic civilization has advanced through incremental improvements to established technologies and theories. We have become efficient, stable, and predictable. But we have also become stagnant." ZYXDAL's scales shifted to brighter colors. "Your ship demonstrates that there are other paths to technological advancement. Your species' approach of experimental problem solving has led you to discoveries that our methodical approach has never achieved." Ancient designate Flux of Eternity's energy patterns swirled in complex configurations. "The Council has decided that humanity will be offered a unique position within the hegemony structure. Rather than requiring you to follow standard development protocols, we wish to establish a collaborative relationship." Sarah felt a surge of relief so intense it was almost overwhelming. "What kind of collaboration?" "Your species will be granted protected status and territory for resettlement," 77 Alpha explained. "In exchange, you will work with our scientists and engineers to understand the principles behind your technological achievements. We're particularly interested in your approach to engineering challenges," Korth's technical voice added. "The quantum entanglement effects in your reactors represent technology we have been trying to develop for centuries." Dr. Vasquez stepped forward. "Council members, we would be honored to share our knowledge. But, we should make clear that much of what we've achieved came from necessity and experimentation. We may not be able to replicate it easily." "That is precisely why it's valuable," Flux of Eternity replied. "Your species has demonstrated that innovation can come from approaches we had never considered. This could benefit all of galactic civilization." Sarah felt a weight lifting from her shoulders, but she needed to be sure she understood the full implications. "What exactly are you proposing?" Shardovlight answered, "The hegemony will establish a joint research territory in the Kepler 442 system. Your ship will be provided with suitable worlds for colonization, while our scientists work with yours to understand and develop the technologies you've stumbled upon." Additionally, ZYXTAL added, "Humanity will be granted full membership in the Galactic Council, with voting rights and territorial protection. This is unprecedented for a newly contacted species, but your situation is unprecedented." Chief Roman looked stunned. "You're giving us membership in galactic civilization?" "More than that," 77 Alpha clicked. "You're being invited to help shape its future direction. Your species' approach to problem solving could unlock advances that benefit everyone." Sarah realized that humanity had achieved something beyond their wildest dreams. They hadn't just found a home among the stars, they had found a place as equals in an ancient and advanced civilization. "On behalf of humanity," she said formally, "I accept your proposal. We look forward to working with you to build a better future for all species." But, ancient designate Flux of Eternity raised what might have been a cautionary gesture. "Captain Chen, there is one condition we must discuss. Your species' approach to technology is powerful precisely because it's unpredictable. As you integrate into galactic civilization, you must be careful not to lose that quality." "What do you mean?" "Many species, when exposed to advanced technology and established theories, abandon their own innovative approaches in favor of proven methods. We hope humanity will maintain its willingness to attempt impossible things. Sarah smiled, thinking of the human engineers, scientists, and innovators aboard the Prometheus. I don't think you need to worry about that. Humans have been attempting impossible things since we first looked at the stars and decided we belonged there. Over the following weeks, the Prometheus traveled in convoy with the alien fleet toward the Kepler 442 system. The journey gave both species time to begin the complex process of integration and collaboration. Human engineers worked alongside alien technicians to understand the quantum effects in their reactors, while alien scientists marveled at humanity's intuitive approach to solving complex problems. Dr. Vasquez established cultural exchange programs, allowing humans and aliens to learn about each other's histories and philosophies. What emerged was a picture of two fundamentally different but complementary approaches to advancement. The alien species had achieved stability and incredible technological sophistication through careful, methodical development. They had eliminated most sources of unpredictability and chaos from their advancement process, allowing them to build a lasting galactic civilization. Humanity, on the other hand, had thrived on unpredictability and chaos. Their greatest achievements had come from desperate necessity, creative problem-solving, and a willingness to try things that shouldn't work. It's like they represent stability and we represent change, Dr. Vasquez explained to Sarah as they watched human and alien children playing together in one of the ship's recreation areas. Separately, stability becomes stagnation and change becomes chaos. But, together, they could create something greater than either could achieve alone. Chief Rahman had been spending most of her time working with alien engineers, and her reports were consistently exciting. Captain, we're learning things about our own technology that we never imagined. But, more than that, we're helping them understand approaches to innovation they had forgotten. Forgotten? According to their historical records, most of their species went through experimental phases early in their development, but they abandoned those approaches once they achieved stable theories. They've been building on those same theoretical foundations for thousands of years. Sarah looked out at the alien ships traveling alongside the Prometheus, their elegant forms cutting through space with perfect efficiency. So what we're doing is reminding them how to break their own rules. Exactly. And they're teaching us how to understand what we've accomplished so we can do it intentionally instead of by accident. The Kepler 442 system was everything the Council had promised. 3 habitable worlds orbited a stable star, with space stations and research facilities already under construction by the time the convoy arrived. The aliens had worked with incredible efficiency to prepare humanity's new home. As the Prometheus approached its destination, Sarah stood on the bridge watching the new worlds grow larger on the viewscreen. Behind her, 2 million humans prepared to begin new lives among the stars. Around her, alien ships that had once seemed threatening now served as escorts and guides. Captain, Lieutenant Park announced, we're receiving a transmission from the surface. The first research facilities are ready for occupation. Sarah nodded, then activated the ship-wide communication system. All hands, this is the captain. After 18 months in deep space, we have reached our destination. The Kepler 442 system will be our new home, shared with our new allies in the galactic hegemony. She paused, thinking about the impossible journey that had brought them to this moment. When we left Earth, we were refugees fleeing a dying world. We arrived here as partners in a galactic civilization. We've shown that humans can achieve incredible things when we refuse to accept that something is impossible. As the Prometheus entered orbit around New Terra, the first of humanity's new worlds, Sarah watched shuttles begin the process of transferring people and equipment to the surface. In the distance, alien vessels provided support and assistance, the beginning of what she hoped would be a long partnership. Dr. Vasquez approached her command chair. Captain, I've been thinking about what ancient designate Flux of Eternity said about maintaining our innovative approach. What about it? I think we're going to be just fine. After all, we just spent 2 million humans and 1 impossible ship to accidentally revolutionize galactic civilization. If that's not typically human, I don't know what is. Sarah laughed, feeling truly optimistic for the first time since leaving Earth. Dr. Vasquez, I suspect that in a few years, the galaxy is going to be a very different place. Better or worse? Definitely more interesting. As the first human settlements began to take shape on the worlds of Kepler 442, and the first joint human-alien research stations came online, the seeds of a new age were planted. Humanity had found not just a home among the stars, but a purpose to help an ancient and stable civilization remember how to dream of impossible things. The Prometheus, its journey complete, took its place in orbit as both monument and promise. It stood as proof that impossible things could be achieved by those desperate or crazy enough to try, and as a launching point for even greater adventures among the stars. In the depths of space, ancient beings who had ruled the galaxy for millennia found themselves looking forward to an uncertain future for the first time in thousands of years. Humanity had brought them the greatest gift one species could offer another, the reminder that there was still so much left to discover. The stars watched in their eternal silence as a new chapter began in the story of galactic civilization, written by those who had refused to accept that the impossible was truly impossible. And, in the engineering bays and research laboratories of New Terra, human and alien minds worked together to unlock secrets that neither could have discovered alone, pushing the boundaries of what was possible and proving that the greatest innovations come from those willing to break the rules that others thought were absolute. The galaxy had become a more unpredictable place, and everyone was better for it.